Hey there, it's Sara, and I'm coming at you with a shorty episode. And today we're talking all about the idea that you're not giving something up when you ditch alcohol, but instead you're gaining your life back. If you've ever found yourself saying something like, I miss being able to have a drink every now and then, or even thinking, I want to quit drinking, but I just feel like I'll be missing out on a lot, then this episode is for you. Because here's the truth of it. You're not really missing out. And when you have that thought, you think you're missing out on this thing that alcohol gave you. Maybe it allowed you to numb out. Maybe it allowed you to relax, to escape, right? But when you actually step back and start realizing how much you gain by ditching alcohol and you flip the script, then you suddenly see it's totally worth it. And then your mindset goes from I can't drink to I don't need to drink. And when that mindset shift happens, that's where all the magic is. Now, before we dive all the way into this episode, I want to remind you that the Refresh and Reboot Dry July experience is coming soon. I know I've been talking to you a lot about getting onto the wait list so you can be part of early bird enrollment. Well, guess what? Early bird enrollment is officially here. If you're listening to this episode on the day that it airs, then we're actually 2 days into that early enrollment period, and there's actually only one more day to be part of this. Why is it important to be part of this early bird enrollment? Because when you are part of this group, you get access to the Refresh and Reboot Dry July experience at a discounted price. So to be part of this group and get access to that early bird pricing, just head to nomorewasteddays.co/waiting list and you can get yourself on the waiting list today, and an email will be sent to you right away with your link to sign up for the Dry July experience. Remember, that link is nomorewasteddays.co/waiting list, and you can also find the link in the show notes of this episode. All right, now let's dive into this topic where we're going to reframe our mindset. First, we're going to reframe the narrative. A lot of people, myself included, before I quit drinking, thought that if I quit drinking, I was going to lose a whole bunch of things. I was going to lose all the fun that I had when I was drinking. I was going to lose friends. I was going to lose goofiness and silliness, even those moments that I thought were so spontaneous when I was drinking. Believe me, this type of thinking is totally normal, and it's because we've been taught that alcohol is a reward. And we've also been taught that alcohol is the thing that makes us have fun. Think about all the ads you see. You see people drinking and having a great time. They never show the part of people drinking too much and slurring their speech and falling over and having hangovers the next day or not remembering important moments with their family. Those parts aren't shown because they want you to buy alcohol, right? So now we're going to start flipping the script. We are going to reframe all of this, and we're going to shift from a mindset of deprivation to a mindset of abundance. This is the first thing I did that finally made me feel successful on this alcohol-free journey. I had tried to quit drinking before, or I had even taken breaks, and the whole time I was white-knuckling it, and I was just getting through. It's because I didn't take the time to do the mindset work. Now, people think that doing the mindset work is really, really hard, right? They're like, well, what do I even do to do that? I will tell you right now that I did it with two easy things. I did daily gratitudes and I did daily affirmations. I still do these things today. Every single day, I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. And then I also write down a set of affirmations that I know are helping me move towards the goals I have in my life. When I first quit drinking, every day I would write down, I do not drink. This helped me start to flip my script. It helped me start to believe I'm a person that doesn't drink alcohol. I didn't believe it in the beginning, but the more I wrote it down and the more I said it out loud, the more I started to believe it. And as far as the gratitudes, I used those as a place to start seeing how abundant my life was without alcohol. I could see that I was more present with my kids. I could see that I was actually having fun without alcohol. And I could see that my life was so much easier without hangovers and blackouts in it. So what if every single time you thought to yourself, I can't drink, you started thinking, I don't need to drink? It's a powerful way to flip the script and start moving into that mindset of abundance. And those gratitudes and affirmations that I mentioned, that's actually a part of my Dry July experience. When people go through my 30-day alcohol-free challenge, I set them up with a journal where I teach you how to practice daily gratitudes, daily affirmations, and I even have you write down something that happened to you that day because you chose not to drink. I will help you stay accountable because a lot of times we say, oh, totally going to do that, right? But before we do something like joining a Dry July experience where we actually put some skin in the game and we go, okay, now I've got to do this. I've got to hold myself accountable. And I actually have a group walking with me as well as Sara walking me through this challenge. That's when that shift happens. That's when we actually are able to do it for 30 days. And that's why, again, I want you to check out that link in the show notes and get on the waiting list today because then you'll have access to that early bird pricing today. Now, I know I talked about writing down the gains that you feel each day when you don't drink. That's something that I think is huge. But if you're brand new to your journey and you're not quite feeling those gains yet, I want you to get excited about it right now. And I'm going to share some of the gains you may have to look forward to. Now, I have to say, this is not a one-size-fits-all thing, right? Everybody is different on their alcohol-free journey. Everybody's going to have a different experience. But these are some of the positives that I had early on in my journey. Number one for me was mental clarity. I feel like the fog lifted for me pretty early on. All of a sudden, I was thinking more clearly. I was more creative. I could think of cool things to write as far as my online business at the time. I just felt like, oh my gosh, I have so many ideas and I'm so excited to implement them. At the time that I quit drinking, I was really down on my teaching job. I knew that I was going to quit in the future and I was just counting down the days. But when I quit drinking, I actually got excited about teaching again. I could actually see like, oh my gosh, I really like this job. Now, I still did want to quit the job because I knew we were going to be moving to build our house in the future. So I knew that those two things were not going to go together, but I got excited again. And instead of looking at my last year of teaching as this punishment, like, oh, I have to get through this, I was like, oh my gosh, this may be my last year of teaching. I don't know if I'll go back to teaching after this. So I'm going to make the most out of it and I'm going to do the best job. I don't think that that would have happened for me if I wouldn't have had that mental clarity that I experienced when I quit drinking. That mental clarity also made me feel confident in my choice to leave my teaching job. At the very end, I was really questioning, am I doing the right thing? Can I make this work? Can I quit teaching and actually start a YouTube vlog with my husband about building a house? And I was like, you know what? If I can quit drinking, I can do anything. And I also told myself, no matter what, I know I can figure this out. And I knew that that was 100% true because of the mental clarity I had. So that's my number one gain for me. Number two was the inner peace that I felt. I finally never woke up anymore in the morning thinking, oh my God, what did I do last night? That didn't happen to me anymore. Instead, I would wake up each morning knowing exactly what I did the night before. And I also didn't wake up in the morning going, oh my God, I have a hangover again. Instead, I would wake up and think, oh my gosh, I didn't drink last night and I feel amazing. That created so much inner peace for me, just that simple switch. Now, I know it's not simple to just quit drinking, but when you remove alcohol, it removes blackouts, it removes hangovers immediately, and you suddenly feel more inner peace in yourself because you're not experiencing those things anymore. I just didn't put myself through that shame spiral anymore of the, oh my God, what did I do last night? Or, oh my God, I drank again. Now, number three for me was better sleep. This happened really quickly for me. It does not happen really quickly for everybody. I found out later on that I was pretty lucky that it happened so quickly. But oh my goodness, I started sleeping like a baby when I quit drinking, and I was able to sleep for so long. Now, I do think that sleeping for so long was actually my body recovering from alcohol, and it just needed that rest. But man, I enjoyed it, and I still wish I could sleep that long now. That eventually did go away, but my sleep still is so quality. I may not sleep as long as I used to in my beginning alcohol-free days, but I always feel well rested, and that is such a gift. When I was a drinker, I would often wake up at 3 a.m. panic stricken. And I talk about this a lot on social media, and people always go, oh yeah, me too. And I know I'm not alone in this one, right? But when that went away and I didn't wake up at 3 a.m. obsessing about what did I do? Oh my gosh. Or I can't believe I drank so much last night. Or oh my gosh, I have to do all these things tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be ready. I would just spiral in the middle of the night. And I don't do that anymore. Now, even if I do wake up and I start thinking about things I need to do the next day, I can actually tell myself, like, you'll deal with that in the morning. Why don't you go back to sleep now? And I actually go back to sleep. It's an amazing gift. Number 4 for me is self-trust. Now, this one kind of goes hand in hand with inner peace, but I finally started keeping promises to myself. I promised myself every day that I wasn't going to drink, and I followed through. This was the first time in a long time that I kept promises to myself like this, and it made a huge difference. I started thinking, if I can trust myself to do this, I can trust myself to do other things. And then I started setting myself up with new challenges along the way and new things that I wanted to do. This was a gain that I really wasn't expecting, and it really did help me make that switch from the mindset of deprivation to the mindset of abundance, because all of a sudden I was like, what an amazing gift I've been able to give myself. I can trust myself again. I didn't even know that I didn't really trust myself as a drinker, but it turns out I didn't have a lot of trust in myself as a drinker, because why would I trust myself? I was drinking all the time and I was making poor choices. I was drinking so much that I was experiencing blackouts. I was drinking so much that I had hangovers that wasted the whole day. I don't have that anymore. So now I can actually trust myself to make plans and follow through. The 5th gain that I experienced that was big enough for me to make the shift from the mindset of deprivation to the mindset of abundance was the freedom that I experienced on my alcohol-free journey, that I still experience today. I no longer have to think, am I going to drink tonight? Or should I drink tonight? Or should I moderate tonight? Can I control myself anymore? Instead, I am free to make other choices because I am not so focused. An amazing example of this is that my kids just had their 8th grade promotion, and I felt so free that night. I felt free to be totally present for them. I was not being held down by thinking about, what am I going to order when we get to the restaurant after their promotion? What drink am I going to have? I wonder when I can get my parents to go home so I can drink more. Instead, I just got to be totally present with the family. And that feeling allows you to have so much freedom in your life. When you're no longer completely thinking about alcohol all the time, which I didn't know I was when I was a drinker, but it turns out I was, you just have so much more freedom in your life to think about other things. That's why a lot of times I say that I'm alcohol free instead of saying that I'm sober. It's because I feel free. I had no idea that I was living in a prison, essentially, when it came to alcohol. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I'm totally free. It is the coolest feeling, and it definitely makes me live in the mindset of abundance and makes me see that it's really cool to say, no, I don't need to drink, actually. When people ask me, so you're never going to drink again, I think to myself, why would I want to? And I cannot believe that I am that person, because I was a person who loved drinking. So for me to have that mindset shift means that you can have that mindset shift too. After hearing all of these gains, if you're on your alcohol-free journey already, I want you to take a second to list out some of the gains you've experienced in your life. And if you're still just thinking about quitting drinking, you're not quite there yet, I want you to think, which of those gains do you want to experience in your life? And here's an exercise that you can guide yourself in. If you're early on your alcohol-free journey or farther along, you can do this exercise. Ask yourself, because I'm not drinking, I get to, and then finish that sentence. Maybe it's something like, I get to drive home whenever I want to, or I get to feel fully present, or I get to feel proud of myself in the morning, or maybe it's that you get to feel fully present with your family. And beyond all of those, I know that you're going to have so many more. If you do this exercise, I would love for you to DM me what you get to do because you're choosing not to drink. And believe me, I read those DMs. Even if I'm not able to respond to every single one, I love reading them and knowing that you were listening to the episode and that then you're like, oh my gosh, I got to reach out to her. So go shoot me a DM on Instagram or Facebook. I would love to hear from you. If this episode is lighting a fire under you and you're like, oh my gosh, I can see how much I can gain without drinking, and now it doesn't feel like a punishment, it feels like something to be excited about, then I want you to hop into the Refresh and Reboot Dry July experience. Remember, the early bird enrollment is happening right now. It will actually close tomorrow on July 21st. July 21st will be the last day you can get that early pricing deal. So head to nomorewasteddays.co/waiting list and get yourself on the waiting list, and an email will be sent to you with the link to sign up with that early enrollment, and you'll have your early enrollment coupon code. So many people go through this 30-day challenge and then they come out the other side and they are ready to move into a life without alcohol, and they feel confident about the shift. I hope to see you in the challenge as well, so be sure to head to the link in the show notes so you can get on the waiting list today. All right, I want you to remember that this is a choice. You can make this mindset shift, and you can go from seeing that you're not missing out at all when you give up alcohol. Remind yourself, I'm not giving something up, I'm actually getting everything back. This is your invitation to keep going and keep living a life totally aligned with who you want to be. If this idea of making this mindset shift really hit home with you, I would love for you to share this episode with a friend. And if you haven't already, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be in your ear in the next episode.